So, children, this is the continuation video of Hearts and Hands story explanation for Standard 9. So, we will just continue with the next part. You will excuse me for speaking, miss, but I see you are acquainted with the marshal here. If you will ask him to speak a word for me, when we get to the pen, he will do it, and it will make things easier for me there. He is taking me to Leavenworth prison. It's 7 years of counterfeiting. So, what it is said, you will excuse me for speaking, miss, but I see you were acquainted with the marshal here. So he addressed her means Miss Fairchild directly by saying to, he means this is that police officer, by saying to excuse him and said, you know the marshal. Now children, here is first twist. Here the actual marshal is telling that Mr. Easton is the marshal. So he said that you know the marshal. Then said, if you will ask him to speak a word for me when we get to the pen, you will do it and it will make things easier for me. There, he is taking me to Leavenworth. So what he said, the Glumfest man who was uh, in reality was the policeman, said totally opposite to Miss Fairchild. What I said just now, he made her believe that Mr. Easton was not a criminal. In fact, he was a police officer. He himself pretended to be the criminal. So try to understand what he said. According to his conversation, he said Mr. Easton is the marshal or the police officer and he himself is the criminal. He asked her, will you please tell the marshal to put in a word for me when we reach the prison. So, and I have been printing a fake currency note. You see here one word, counterfeiting. Here I have written making an exact copy of something to deceive someone. Here the meaning is printing fake currency. So what that man said, that I have to no, first what he said, will you please tell the marshal to put in a word for me when we reach the prison? After all, I have to spend there for 7 years. I am going to Leavenworth prison. And why? And I have been printing, why he is going? I have been printing fake currency notes, because of which I have been uh, jailed there for 7 years. That was his line. Then next, oh, said the girl with a deep breath and returning color. So that is what you were doing out here, a marshal. So she was relieved. The girl was relieved. Miss Fairchild, she didn't even reply to the police officer. She thought her old friend Mr. Easton was a marshal. So she was happy. Now you listen. Here the marshal, actual marshal, that police officer, that Glumfest man, he only convinced the Miss Fairchild that he was the criminal and this Easton is the marshal who was taking this Glumfest man to the prison, to the jail, because of printing fake currency notes, and he has been punished for that and will be jailed there for 7 years. All these things he said about himself. But the moment lady came to know, that pretty woman Miss Fairchild came to know, she was quite relieved, but she did not bother to answer Mr. Marshall, actual police officer, that marshal, because she was happy that her friend was a marshal, not the criminal. My dear Miss Fairchild, said Easton calmly, I had to do something. You see, so now Mr. Easton was relaxed and he addressed her in a sophisticated manner. He said, we have to work to earn our living. So next, what he said, I had to do something. That means what I'm doing this work. This is my job. For my living, I have to do something. Money has a way of taking wings unto itself, and you know it takes money to keep step with our crowd in Washington. So that man said, money gets spent very fast, and he said that. The elite circle of Washington means the circle of wealthy people with whom he socialized. uh, for those people, he needed money, because if you want to be with the wealthy people, you need to have money. So that only he said here. And well, a marshalship is not quite as high position as that of ambassador. But so, what says? So he said that I became a marshal. Still, my position is not as high as that of an ambassador. So here you see, and then the ambassador, the girl said the girl warmly, doesn't call anymore. He need not ever have done so. You ought to know that. So the girl now said that the ambassador doesn't visit me anymore. In fact, I was not that interested in him. So here, children, we can guess by this conversation, ambassador and he doesn't visit this, that. From this, what we can guess, that the ambassador might have been one of the suitors of the girl. Maybe showed a little bit interest in him first. The girl maybe was a little bit interested in him at first, but not now at all. And when she says this line, you ought to know that, she meant that she had some interest in Mr. Easton, because she is fascinated with the fact that he is a marshal now. Excuse me. And so now you are one of these dashing Western heroes, and you ride and shoot and go into all kinds of danger. That's different from the Washington life. You have been missed from the old crowd. So here she is romanticizing the role of a marshal. She is imagining that Mr. Easton now was leading such a thrilling and exciting life, and is involved in many brave deeds, while life in Washington is much more sophisticated. So in her eyes, not very exciting. So she says that you have been missed from the old crowd. You have been missed from the old crowd. The girl's eye, fascinated, went back, widening a little to rest upon the glittering handcuffs. So, as she was speaking, once again she looked at the handcuff again. She appeared quite fascinated with whatever she was hearing and seeing. She was fascinated. Why? Because she got to know that her friend was a marshal, was having a good position. He was handling social duty, and it was quite thrilling and exciting job what he was doing. Next, don't you worry about them, miss, said the other man. Other man means that glum-faced man. All marshal handcuffed themselves to their prisoner to keep them from getting away. Mr. Easton knows his business. So now that man, this police officer, the real police officer, uh, he spoke once again. He said, don't worry about handcuff. He's handcuffed because he's a police officer, and he He doesn't want me to escape. Here you see, he doesn't want me to escape. He knows his work well. Mr. Easton knows his business. That means he knows his work well. Because that glum-faced man thought, when once again that lady looked at the handkerchief, that glum-faced man thought, if that lady still had any confusion regarding that handkerchief, so he said, "Will we see you again soon in Washington?" asked the girl. Now you notice, children, again that girl replied, but not to that actual police officer. She started talking to Mr. Easton. So even now she is not talking to the police officer. Maybe she thinks he is a criminal, and so she would not speak to him, because according to her, that man was a criminal. So she did not bother to talk, and again she started talking to Mr. Easton, and she just asked that whether they will meet in Washington. "Not soon, I think," said Easton. "My butterfly days are over, I fear." So Easton said that she would not see him. That lady would not see him because his butterfly days are over. That means now he wouldn't be able to move around as free as he used to before. So according to the lady, the meaning was that butterfly days are over. He could not move freely because he had a lot of responsibilities, work. He was a police officer, so he had to do his duty. So it was not possible for him to move freely here and there. But actually the meaning is something different. When we will go to the end of the story, we will come to know, and that what I said at the beginning also, that is the twist, that he actually, Mr. Easton was the criminal, and that glum-faced man, that man was the police officer who was taking Mr. Easton to the jail, and he has been jailed for 7 years. So in that way it is said that my butterfly days are over, I fear. "I love the West," said the girl irrelevantly. Her eyes were shining softly. She looked away out the car window. She began to speak truly and simply, without the gloss of style and manner. So she said, the girl, that Miss Fairchild said this very relevantly. That means she perhaps pretended to change the topic, but actually she wanted to continue the conversation, because Mr. Easton had told her earlier that his butterfly days are over, that he has to remain in the West. He cannot keep visiting Washington too often. Her eyes were shining softly. That means perhaps she was experiencing some tender feeling. She was experiencing some tender feeling. So, and she looked out from the car's window. That means she did not want to look directly at his face. And then she began speaking very genuinely to him. Uh, Now what she said: "Mama and I spent the summer in Denver. She went home a week ago because father was slightly ill. I could leave and be happy in the West. I think the air here agrees with me." So just she started saying some general conversation. She was explaining why she was in Denver. She was with mother, then mother went because the father was sick. So what she said here, that she went home, that though I said. So she is giving a hint to Mr. Easton. From this, what we understand, she is giving a hint to Mr. Easton that she would like to live in the West. She would like to be near him. Near him means near Mr. Easton. So coming with the explanation in next